Okay.
Welcome back, everybody.
What episode is this now?
Episode 8.
8.
8.
My God.
A whole 8 episodes of us chatting shit.
Thinking, what's the significance of number 8? There's lots of significance. I can't think of one at the top of my head. It's a whole octave.
I'll tell you what is significant. We've got chocolate.
Yeah, let's have a look.
Let's have a little bit of celebratory chocolate for the 8th episode. We can eat 8 bits of chocolate each.
That's it, boy. Right, so real quick off the bat, bit of housekeeping again. So Street Taverna, like them on Instagram. If you're near Bristol, go check them out at Harbourside Market. Get yourself some souvlaki, say, let's do it when you order your food, and get some free halloumi and fries. It's very good. You won't be disappointed. And also, again, we keep forgetting to do this at the fucking start of the podcast. Please like, subscribe, all that kind of stuff. If you watch this on YouTube, please subscribe on either Apple or Spotify as well. It really helps us out. Leave a comment. We will reply to all of them. Leave a review on one of the podcasting things if you could. That would be much appreciated.
Absolutely. Very appreciated. It's really nice to get a comment from somebody that's watched our podcast.
Yes.
Because, granted, not many people watch it. Fair enough. But the people that do, when they engage and tell us what they like, it's awesome because we get a little bit of, it's a bit of a buzz.
There's a warm glow.
Yes.
In my insides.
Yep.
I hope you feel the same.
Yeah, absolutely. Anyway, so what's on the itinerary today?
All right, so again, we're gonna freestyle this one a little bit.
I love a freestyle.
One thing I do want to mention, which is when we did our worst breakdown stories.
Yeah.
I forgot to tell possibly my worst one.
Okay, so we can recap.
So I just want to go over that real quick.
Yeah.
Got plenty of material for Rant Alley again.
Good, Rant Alley.
Last week got a little bit spicy.
Yeah, it did.
Which, I mean, it didn't get that spicy, but I genuinely thought, I was like, this is a nice little one. I just need to mention this because it's been bugging me a little bit.
It escalated.
It escalated a bit.
It got heated.
There
was a lot of F-bombs flying around.
Yeah.
It was intense. It was good, though. It's good
seat
heater. It's good to get it off your chest.
It is. Yeah.
That's the whole purpose of Rant Alley, is to talk about things that are frustrating you so you can express yourself.
Exactly.
It's healthy.
I'm just gonna add something else to the Rant Alley list that I've just remembered.
Okay, cool. So, so we've got that planned for a bit for freestyle as well. So there are a few things that I want to talk about, such as.
Well, you crack on as well. So making a quick note. This is very antisocial of me. I'm sorry.
That's fine. I'm just going to go over an overview. So there's things such as some electric vehicles. Okay. I'm going to just keep it vague at the moment.
Right.
That are being produced by car manufacturers that I respect a lot, simply from cars that they've produced historically.
Right.
And they are starting now to produce cars that this company would never usually touch on.
Right, okay.
Historically.
Yeah.
And the fact that they're doing it just seems like they're doing it just to keep up with the Joneses. And I mean that as in like everybody else is doing it. So they're like, we better do it. And that loses
Let's do it.
a sense of identity in my eyes. Because it's like, why are you doing that?
Dilutes the brand, I think is the phrase.
Thank you.
I'm still a little bit nasal, by the way. I'm still fighting off this cold thing.
So I want to go through that a little bit. And just get your thoughts on it because it's something that I don't particularly agree with.
Let's start with that then. What are we talking?
Okay, perfect. So it's Lotus. Okay, we touched a little bit about this before, but historically, in my eyes anyway, I'm not like a massive Lotus fan. I've never owned a Lotus, but I do admire their cars.
Yes.
Specifically, like Lotus Eletres, K-Series Eletres, loved all of that.
Beautiful.
Awesome.
S1 Elise.
Oh my God.
What a machine.
Yeah. So just think they're awesome. And
I love a K-Series.
Extremely K-Series. I think they are the S1 with the 1.8 VVC in it.
Yeah.
Awesome.
The second, the facelift at least came with a K-Series for a little while as well.
Yeah.
I've driven one of those actually.
Nice.
I drove it was a 160 VVC.
Nice.
Phase 2 or Mark 2, whatever you want to call it at least.
Yeah.
It's quite nice actually.
Nice, actually. And the K-Series, like we've talked about this before, love that engine.
Before we can I just take a sidestep real quick?
Of course, I'll eat this bit of chocolate.
Nice. Were you with me at Caffeine and Machine when we saw the Vauxhall VX220? I don't think you were. So last year I went to Caffeine and Machine with... it was with Jake, Matt and Tom. Mm-hmm. And in the car park of Caffeine and Machine was a Vauxhall VX220. And I immediately was like, oh, fucking sweet. I've not seen one of those in years. That's such a cool car. Everybody I was with thought I was mental.
No, they're cool cars. Badass.
They're so rad.
And they're so rare now.
Yeah, and I just, like... Because, again, that shares a lot of the underpinnings with an Elise, but you have...
More power.
A bigger engine, yeah.
Yeah.
It wasn't a VXR or anything we were looking at, but it was, just the standard Vauxhall VX220. I think they're about 170 odd horsepower.
Yeah.
2.2.
And they look cool.
I think it's aged really well, but everybody else I was with, and again, this is all subjective, so I'm not saying there's a right or a wrong answer, but everyone else I was with was just like, it looks fucking awful. It looks like it's stuck in the 90s, which I don't even think it was made in the 90s, to be fair. But they were just like, they looked at me like I was a psychopath. They could not wrap their head around the fact that I liked this car, and I was like...
What's not to like about it? It's a sporty, fairly quick, roadstery kind of two-seater, mid-engine.
I guess 800. I think it's a bit heavier than the Elise because that 2.2, I would imagine, I don't think it's an alley block or anything, so it's probably, I don't know, let's say 850 kilos.
What's not to like about it?
Still under a ton.
Yeah.
So
Engine's behind you.
And again, having seen one recently, last year, up close, had a good look around it.
Cool car.
I think it's still a really good-looking car, and I think it's aged well.
Yeah. I've only ever seen maybe a handful of them in real life. And every time I see one, I go, it's a VX220.
Yeah, I feel like they've got real nice dimensions, because the wheels are big for the size of the car, but not caricature big.
Yeah.
Not like concept car big.
Yeah.
They're just I don't know, it's a nice silhouette, I find.
Yeah, the whole dimensions of it are great.
Pretty face. I like the way that they integrate the Vauxhall V badge.
Yeah, the rear end looks badass with the exhausts.
The headlights look, the vertical
exhaust, yeah.
The rear lights look good. They're not, they're sort of Lexus-y for the time, but not overly. I think it's a great looking car, and I'd love to drive one.
Yeah, I think they're cool.
So yeah, I just wanted a bit of a sense check that I wasn't actually mental.
No, you're not mental. They're cool cars.
Okay, good.
And I wouldn't usually say that about a Vauxhall.
No, neither did I. I don't really like Vauxhalls in general rule.
I'm not a Vauxhall fan, but there are a few that I like, and that's one of them.
Anyway, sorry, back to Lotus.
So Lotus. I like Lotus as a brand, as a company. I like Lotus. I like what they do. I like the cars that they produce. Up until most recently, although they're still producing brilliant cars, and they've always been something that I've always looked on Piston Heads and see what's about, see what's for sale.
Excuse me, yeah.
I've met a few Lotus owners throughout the years at track days and stuff, and they all fucking love their releases, man. And
I remember the days when I was heavily involved with like the Rover forums and stuff. This one dude came on the Rover forums once, and he was building a because there's a big modifying scene for the Elise, especially.
Yeah,
there was a guy who was building an Elise. He bought I think it was a crash damaged one. And he was building he's basically building an engine for it.
Yep.
And it was a 1.4K series.
Right.
And I think he was aiming for something like 400 horsepower out of it.
Wow.
Have a 1.4K series turbo.
Turbocharged,
Yeah.
Jeez.
I think he made it. He got very close anyway.
Fair play.
A lot of people put K20s in them.
Yeah.
Lots of engine swaps.
There's a bloke at Castle Combe that had a supercharged K20.
What, Elise?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Yellow one. And it was it? Yeah, I think it was an Elise S1, and it was just absolute batshit crazy.
I bet it was, yeah.
And like full track toy.
Yeah.
And it was just mental.
I really like the Caterham obviously is the extreme end of that, but I really like that sort of lightweight because you don't need it to be overly stiff for it to for it to handle well.
Yeah.
So you can have a bit of suspension travel. It can still be fairly compliant.
And a little bit of suspension travel in something like that is light keeps you involved.
Yeah,
man.
it's lovely.
You can feel all the corners gripping in, and it's a really involved experience.
Yeah.
So for me, that's what Lotus is really about. Building these cars, drivers' cars, not. I mean, they built some more mental stuff more recently, but going back in time a little bit, not mental, but fucking involved and great fun.
I feel like the Evora was a really underrated car as well.
Yeah.
I remember when they were new, you did see a few of them on the road. They sold a few of them.
Yeah.
But underrated car, I find.
Yeah. So
never driven one.
Nah, lovely though. So yeah, recently I stumbled across. I haven't been following Lotus as a brand, and I don't really know what they've been producing other than some nice cars. But this one thing popped up, and you have to remind me what the name of it is.
Is this the SUV?
Yes.
I can't remember. Electra. To be honest, Lotus's naming scheme is I've completely lost track of it. I think it's the Electra.
Yeah, I've lost track of it as well. However, it's an SUV. Yeah. Like first and foremost, it's an SUV, right?
It is the Electra. Yes.
So that blew my mind. First and foremost, in a very bad way.
Yeah.
Why Lotus? Why are Lotus deciding to build an SUV and produce it for the masses? Why are they doing that?
So, I will try and play devil's advocate.
Okay. Before we get into that, let me just continue to express, because I need to get this off my chest.
I feel like we're about to turn down Rant Alley.
I feel like we might be bordering on it, but I'm going to stay away from it. I'm going to try and stay, borderline objective. Oh, I'm slipping into a lot of subjectivity, which is fine. However, Lotus as a brand is not a brand that you would associate with an SUV. An SUV is a utility vehicle that carries families around to do all sorts of random stuff, not necessarily to go fast or to be a driver's experience or to take on a track day or anything like that. Okay, so it kind of doesn't fit in. It doesn't fit. Now, I do get why they're doing it in terms of a strategy in the marketplace, where you see SUVs being produced by every bloody car maker in the world. And people like Aston Martin, Ferrari, Lamborghini.
Ferrari, according to Ferrari, they don't make an SUV.
There's bollocks, they do. We all know they do. But you see all those people doing it, and I think Lotus, again, are trying to be like, we need to keep up with the big boys, so we're going to produce our own, and we're going to make it really fast. We're going to give it all the mod cons in the world, and we're going to make it a really, really good car. But there was a day, probably not that long ago, where Lotus probably didn't really give a shit what anyone else was doing, and they were doing what they wanted to do, and building things that they thought were what they wanted. We want to light, nimble.
They had a very specific philosophy, and all of their cars
fit into that mold.
Fit into that philosophy.
Yeah. And I feel like this is just completely, it's completely tangential to what they've done in the past.
The thing, so, all right.
That's it. I'm going to eat this chocolate.
Yeah, nice. Let me try and let me try and play devil's advocate a little bit, and I'm struggling with this a little bit as well. So, the easiest way to explain it away is that they need to sell SUVs to support the rest of the business. Porsche is the perfect example for this. So the Cayenne, when that was first released, we were quite young when that came out, but I remember seeing it on Top Gear. I think it might have even come out before new Top Gear, when it was still Vicky Butler Henderson and that lot. And when that first came out, I remember everyone went fucking apeshit. Porsche making a 4x4. What are they doing? Porsche makes sports cars. What are they making a 4x4? Now, obviously, by that point, we'd had the BMW X5, which, again, BMW were a driver's, the ultimate driving machine. So when they came out with the X5, which I'm pretty sure did that come out before the Cayenne? I think they were all about the same time.
But the difference with BMW, to interrupt quickly, is that they weren't solely just making drivers' cars.
Yeah, that's why I think Porsche is the better example.
Yeah, so BMW were making 5 Series, 7 Series, all that sort of stuff, estates, all sorts of stuff.
Yeah, but with Porsche, it was only sports cars.
Yeah.
And again, Ferrari and Lamborghini aren't a perfect comparison, because as well as being sports cars, supercars, they're also aspirational brands. I don't think that Lotus fits into the aspirational brand kind of mold. No. I mean, they are to a certain extent, but
there's a small market for that.
Yeah, certainly not Ferrari, certainly not Lamborghini level.
Yeah.
So I guess Porsche is probably the best
Yeah,
the best comparison I can make.
But again, Lotus isn't a Porsche.
But
You know what I mean? They're like a Porsche. Porsche is a superpower in my eyes when it comes to the car world.
it wasn't in the 90s.
Yeah,
It was a failing business.
but now it is.
Yeah,
but
partly because of the Cayenne.
Yeah, I know, but Lotus, I don't know. Yeah, I know what you're saying.
But
as a business model, I get it.
That's me playing devil's advocate. But the thing that I'm struggling with on that front is lots of people bought the Cayenne. Lots of people wanted a Porsche.
They wanted a Porsche badge.
They wanted a family Porsche.
Yeah.
And obviously this was way before the Panamera or all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Who the fuck is going to buy a Lotus 4x4? This is what I don't quite understand. Who's going to buy a Lotus SUV? Why would you buy this Lotus SUV over
a Porsche?
A Panamera or a Macan or an X5 or a
Because like
fucking... I don't know how much it's going to cost, but I'm assuming it's not going to be cheap.
It'd probably be north of $100,000. I would have thought. It's a big old beast.
Let's have a look. This is going to be real-time research whilst we're podcasting. You carry on talking so there's no dead space.
Yeah, of course. So, but the thing is, like you said, who's going to buy that other than die-hard Lotus fans that don't want to buy, that are being kind of forced into buying an SUV by...
I don't think even they're going to buy it because...
I don't know, but their wife or... I'm just really... generalizing here, but say they've just had children, their children are growing up, they need a bigger car, and you've got an Elise in the garage that you take out every now and then to go to shows or to go to a track day or just to drive around.
Yeah.
And you love it, and it's your pride and joy. And Sheila says to you one day, oh, love, we need a bigger car because, you know, the old E46 estate isn't quite cutting it. The boys are getting older and we're going on more holidays abroad in the car and things. We need a bit more space and all of this sort of stuff. The husband's going to go, oh, I'd love one of the new Lotus SUVs. In the back of his mind, he's going, I wouldn't actually love one, but if we've got to get an SUV, I want to get a Lotus because I love Lotus.
Yeah.
And then she's going to go show me and she's going to go, no, we're not getting that because she's never heard of Lotus apart from his Elise.
But the thing is as well, like, so I've just had a look. It's going to start from $89,500. That's for the entry-level 600 horsepower version.
Okay, so that's a lot of money.
There's a lot of money. So, and I can't quite gauge the size here. I haven't seen this before today. I've not been keeping up with this. Apparently, one of the competitors for the entry-level one is the Mach-E GT, which...
The Mach-E GT is going to get a hell of a lot more people buying them.
It's a lot cheaper. I mean, I understand the business case that car companies have to make cars that will sell, and a lot more people want an electric SUV than want an Elise or whatever the current one is. I can't remember what it's called. Evija. No, that's the crazy 2,000 horsepower one.
I can't remember.
Oh, I was looking at it.
Literally just looking at it.
I can't remember. Yeah, more people are going to want an electric SUV than are going to want a real specialist niche little sports car. I get that, but it's quite a saturated market now.
Yeah,
and you're right. I just don't. It's not even isn't it a shame that this lightweight British sports car manufacturer is making an SUV? That is a bit of a shame, I feel like.
Yeah.
The same way that it's a shame that there's, you know, a Ferrari SUV. I know the purest
an Aston Martin SUV.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the closest kind of example.
Yeah. I just don't get who's going to buy it. I just don't understand who is going to buy it.
You'll see it
There's
around
so many
occasionally, and you'll go, "Oh my god, that's rare."
Why would you buy that over an Audi e-tron?
And
why would you buy it over the new fucking electric BMW thing?
You wouldn't, would you?
I mean, why would you buy the entry-level version over a Mach-E GT?
Yeah, absolutely. You save money on the Mach-E GT.
Yeah.
Hugely.
Or
and it's Ford. You know that they've got
there's so many others.
It baffles me a little bit.
And that's... It's a really tricky one. I don't understand it, to be honest.
I think to summarise, from a business perspective, it does kind of make sense for them to go through into that market.
Does it?
Well, it does if they...
It does if it sells, but who the fuck's going to buy it?
They obviously think it does. So they've done a lot of market research and they think this is going to be a good idea.
There's a lot of people that are a lot more clever than we are at making these decisions. So I would assume that they've done their business case. But I just don't get it.
I don't get it either. And I think it dilutes the brand. It takes a bit of Lotus out of Lotus. It becomes more of a money-making machine.
Yeah.
And they're straying away from their roots a little bit by doing this. And it doesn't hurt me because I'm not like a huge Lotus fanboy, but it disappoints me.
And the thing is, as well, is that this kind of touches on something that I'm kind of wanting to touch on a little bit for a few episodes now. Is that I'm so bored of fucking SUVs.
God, get them off the road.
Bored of them.
They are boring.
Okay, all right, I've just cracked it. I think this is what's happened.
Okay.
Lotus need to sell a mass-produced car. They need to sell a popular car that they can just churn out.
Yeah. Get their biggest seller out there. You know, widespread.
They're really into electric stuff. They've got the Avaya that's coming out, the crazy 2,000 odd horsepower one.
Yeah.
They're talking about smaller electrified cars. I get that. Mm-hmm. So they need to make a mass-produced, popular, big-selling electric car.
Yeah. To fund everything else.
And to do that, you need to be able to have 4 adults in it comfortably. Mm-hmm. This kind of stuff. You can't make a lightweight electric car.
No.
Or, like I say, a lightweight electric car is still going to be quite a heavy car.
And an SUV as well.
But this is what I mean. Because nobody fucking buys saloons and estates anymore, mm-hmm. I think if Lotus were to have done this 20 years ago, they would have just made a Lotus sports saloon. They would have been an M5 competitor. Mm-hmm. And that probably would have been fantastic. Well, it would have been a slightly more modern Lotus Carlton.
Yeah, I was just thinking
they would have made their own version of the Lotus Carlton or something similar in-house.
Yeah.
But because nobody buys saloons anymore, because we're all a society full of fucking idiots, they're like, right, well, it has to be heavy, it has to have a big battery pack.
But we might as well make it an SUV.
The only thing that's selling at the moment are SUVs.
Yeah.
And that's a real big shame.
Yeah, it is. And...
Because how different would this conversation how different would this conversation that we're having be if Lotus had announced I don't even care about the fact that it's got 900 horsepower. The top spec one's got 900 horsepower. Mm-hmm. How different would this conversation be if Lotus had announced that they were making a fast, powerful, fully electric saloon? Something to take on the Audi e-tron GT or the Tesla Model S or something like that.
If they were making something like a Carlton, for instance, that was modernised and electric, mate, I'll be all over that.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, oh, sweet, what? You're saying that Lotus is going to sell me for £100,000. I'm going to be able to buy something that's going to be as fast as a Tesla or similar speed to a Tesla, and it's going to look like a fucking saloon or whatever, and it's going to look like, and it's going to look cool, and it's going to be rad, and it's going to be Lotus.
It's going to have throwbacks to a Lotus Carlton.
Yeah,
that would be awesome.
That'd be amazing.
Because they're sticking to their design brief that they've had for ages. Whereas now they're just, it's like they've just gone, forget where we'll still make fast cars, fast sports cars, with their all electric stuff and that. But
they need to build they need to have a mass-produced passenger vehicle. Yeah. And the only thing that's even worth looking at the moment is a fucking SUV.
Yeah, there's no point looking at anything else.
We don't deserve good stuff as a society. I think we've cracked it, mate.
Yeah.
We understand now.
Thank you.
I guess in a slightly counterintuitive way, we kind of have to hope that people buy this piece of shit.
Yeah, so Lotus can make other cool stuff.
I still don't quite get who's going to buy a Lotus SUV. Anyway.
We'll see. The market
Let's put that one to bed.
Yeah, let's see what happens. Anyway, moving on. Let's talk about your breakdown story, Ben.
Oh, yeah, so I missed it. Yeah. So I completely forgot to mention this on the Breakdown Story podcast, but I do think it's worth telling because it was a traumatic story. So I'll try and get through this quickly because that Lotus thing went on for longer than we thought it would. So, right, I was in my job for not that long. I recently started my job, so I was, selling vehicles. And long story short, a guy in Norwich, we had quite a sort of specialist, nice niche bit of stock in, and a guy in Norwich rang up and said, "Yeah, really, really like it. Send him some photos, gave him the lowdown." And he was like, "Yeah, cool, I want to go for it." He's like, but he works on an offshore oil rig, and he was like, "But I'm leaving for like 3 months in 4 days." He's like, "I can't come to Swindon because it's 200 odd miles away. A 5-hour drive, 4 or 5 hour drive." He's like, "But if you can get it to me, I'll do it." And I don't think there was even any haggling on the price. I was like, cool. So he had a part exchange. He was part exchanging a Nissan Navara.
Right.
And so, again, he took some photos, sent me the photos, blah, blah, blah. And we were like, right, okay, yeah, this is what we'll offer for it. And he's like, yeah, that's cool. So all the paperwork was done, all good. He paid the money in bank transfer, all that kind of stuff. we couldn't book a driver in time to deliver this vehicle to him. So I was like, fuck it, I'll do it. Mm-hmm. I was like, the deal was worth quite a bit of money for me. Again, I'd been in the job not that long. So I was like, I'm going to be earning some good bunts from this. I'll
Keen to get it done.
I'll get it done. Yeah, fuck it. I'll drive to Norwich. I used to drive to Norwich for work quite often. Yeah. It's no big deal for me. So on a Friday, oh God, it was a Friday. Came into work a little bit early, left work at, by the time I got the thing fueled up and, all this kind of, got it out of the valet bay and all this kind of shit, I'd probably left Swindon at 9 a.m. And I figured, right, it's going to be a 4.5 hour drive. I'll get to his for lunchtime, piss around doing the paperwork at his for maybe half an hour or so. I'll be home by 6 o'clock-ish. That's fine. So anyway, hit the motorway, hit the road, get a little McDonald's breakfast, and I'm going down the motorway. All's good. Get to his house for probably 1 o'clock, 12:30, 1 o'clock.
So on track.
Yeah, everything's going fine. It was a really hot day as well, because it was May.
Yeah.
May or June. No, it was June, sorry. Hot day. Get to his house, knock on the door. Yeah, all good, blah, 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 blah. Do the paperwork. I have to do a little test drive on his part exchange before, we accept everything. So, Wiz is Navara up and down the road. All seems fine. All good. He's happy with his new vehicle. Navara all looks good. So I'm like, cool. I ended up spending more than I'd planned at his house. I was probably at his house for about an hour. But okay, not a problem. I'll just hit the road. Mm-hmm. So come out of his driveway. And going up over Norfolk is a fucking nightmare. Yeah. It's just everything. It's really flat. There's no motorways. It's just everything seems to take way longer than it would anywhere else.
It really does.
So I'm going. I'm leaving his house. I'm going down. I get to the local petrol station. I have to put some diesel in this Navara. Within about 5 minutes of leaving his house, I realise the aircon doesn't work.
On a really hot day, must have bug up.
Really hot day, like cheap vinyl seats in a Navara. So that's annoying, but not the end of the world.
Put your window down.
Window down, exactly.
Embrace it.
So I'm going down the road, go to the petrol station, buy some food, buy a drink, and then eventually get to the M25 at probably 4:30. M25 is gridlock. Absolute fucking gridlock. So I'm like, great, okay, cool, fine. Not the end of the world. I've been in traffic jams before. Mm-hmm. Eventually make it around the M25 to the M4. The M4 is complete carnage. By this point, I'm sweating my tits off. Yeah. I'm starting to get pretty fed up. It's probably by the time I get to the M4, it's, 5 o'clock.
Right, okay. So you're behind schedule.
I'm behind schedule, so I ring work. I'm just like, look, I'm not going to get there before we close. So I'll, there's normally someone at work until about 7 o'clock, or there was at the time at least. So I'm like, hopefully I'll be back by 7. Yeah. And it's all good. M4 is completely gridlock. And then we're stuck in a traffic jam, then it opens up a little bit. Then we're stuck in a traffic jam, then it opens up a bit. And I get to sort of outside, we're approaching memory services. And the heavy traffic just becomes a car park.
No.
And by this point, it's getting towards 6 o'clock. So I'm like, fuck's sake, okay. So I'm outside memory services, and it's so bad that it gets to the point where people are just out of their cars, stood in the motorway.
No way.
Chatting to each other. There's some kids kicking a ball around on the hard shoulder. Like, we're there for fucking ages, and the traffic is not moving.
That sucks.
So I'm like, cool, whatever. So I turn the engine on this Navara off.
Yeah.
And I'm sat there, just chilling, listening to the radio. Not a problem. Speak to a couple of people around me. It's all good. And then after about, half an hour, not like crazy length of time, after about half an hour of us just being stood still, we can see the traffic start to move up ahead. So I'm like, cool. Go to start the Navara, it won't start. Right? And I'm in the middle lane of the motorway. And basically, where I've been running the radio,
oh no,
I've run the battery down. But bearing in mind,
shouldn't be a problem.
That's what I mean. It sounds stupid in hindsight, but I'd been driving it. It'd been running for 5 hours by this point.
Plenty of time to charge that battery up.
And to run a radio for half an hour,
I shouldn't drain it.
It shouldn't drain it. So clearly, this thing had a knackered old battery. So not only does the aircon not work, it had a fucked battery. And so at this point, I'm immediately panicking because
People are speeding up around
Cars start to move, and I'm in the middle lane.
Yeah, you're creating a problem.
So by this point, everyone behind me is beeping me, and I'm just like, well, I can't do anything. I'm not a fucking idiot. People start obviously overtaking me.
Yeah.
And it eventually gets to the point where the traffic is moving to the point where everyone's doing kind of
20, 30 mile an hour.
Yeah, I'd say probably more like 40, 50 miles an hour.
Oh, really? And you're just stationary. It's going to be an accident.
And that is fucking scary.
Yeah.
I was shitting myself. So I rang 999.
Yeah,
I was like, I can't fuck about here. There's no point ringing breakdown. I need to ring the police.
Yeah.
So I ring 999. I'm just like, look, I'm really, really sorry. I don't know what else to do. I've broken down in the middle lane of the motorway.
Yeah.
They don't understand what the hell I'm saying. They're just like, wait, how did that? They think I'm a psychopath. They're just like, how did this happen? I'm just
it's like, why didn't you pull over to the hard shoulder when you had a problem? It's like, I was parked in the middle lane. They're like, what do you mean you're parked in the middle lane?
Yeah. They were like, was there an accident? I'm like, no, there's no accident.
But there will be.
So I'm sat there like a rock in a fast flowing river with cars going past. Every now and again, someone doesn't anticipate what they're doing.
And they're like,
comes right up behind me.
Fuck that.
And then they have to try and dive into one of the other lanes. So I'm shitting myself. And then luckily, eventually, the traffic sort of starts slowing up again, and it kind of swallows me up into the traffic jam again.
Fucking Lord.
And then thankfully after that, some dude who had seen that I'd been stood still, when he was sort of coming towards me and the traffic was stopping, he was like, dude, do you need a hand? And I was like, yeah, I fucking need a hand. So me and this other guy eventually pushed this Navara onto the hard shoulder.
Fuck that.
Which was horrible because it's a big old truck.
And it's hot.
And it's slightly cooler, because by this point it's like getting towards 7 o'clock in the evening.
Still, in June time, that can be still hot.
Yeah, and then... So that was the worst part of it. The really annoying part of it was... The police had been like, okay, we'll send some traffic officers down. They'll help you out.
Yeah.
They got to me pretty quick, probably within 20 minutes, I'd say, 15, 20 minutes.
Not bad.
But by that point, me and this other dude had already kind of
got you to safety.
Got me off onto the hard shoulder.
Yeah.
And these fucking traffic officers got here. And I've usually, I'm not one of these people who automatically hates on the police or, local authorities or emergency services. Generally, I've got a lot of respect for those people. But these guys were fucking idiots. Either that or the working conditions. I just didn't understand the point of what they were doing.
Yeah.
So they came up to me, they parked behind me, and they were like, oh, so I explained what had happened. They were like, right, okay. So someone's helped you push it off. And they go to me, the back of the truck still it was slightly over the white line. So we're going to have to push you onto the hard shoulder more. And I was like, oh, that's cool. Well, mate, I just need a jump start. And immediately their tone turned from being sympathetic to being closed off. And they were just like, oh, we're not authorised to perform mechanical repairs.
It's not a mechanical repair. I just need you to help me boost.
Yeah, and I was like, no, I don't need to work on it. I just need a jump start.
Yeah.
And they were like, no, we can't do mechanical repairs. And I'm like, but I don't. I'm like, it's just a dead battery.
And I'm pretty sure they carry around battery packs.
This is what I mean. In the back of the fucking Outlander or whatever they were driving,
it's kitted out.
There was hundreds. There was cones. There was barriers. There was first aid kits. I'm like, you're telling me you don't have jump leads?
Yeah.
Come on, or a jump pack or something.
I'm guaranteed they'll carry a jump pack.
And they were like, oh no, we can't do that. And I was like, guys,
you can.
I'm like, you're gonna be. You're risking your and my safety to push this thing off the road. Just put a jump pack on it and I'll be on my way.
Yeah, literally.
And they're like, we can't do it. And it started getting a little bit heated. So I was like, I got a solution. They'll like it. Because you could tell, to be fair, they were a little bit frustrated. They were just like, we can't help.
Yeah.
So I was like, perfect solution. Everybody's happy. I was like, I'll tell you what, guys. You're going to help me push this off the hard shoulder.
I'm going to bump it.
I'm like, yeah. I was like, just push me slightly faster than you would normally.
Yeah.
Just get me to slightly above walking pace and I'll bump, because it was a manual Navara.
Yeah.
I was like, I'll bump start it. I'll just dump the clutch and I'll be on my way.
Yeah.
And they immediately were just like, no. Do not do that, sir. Don't do that, sir. And I was like, guys, do you not understand? I was like,
let's go back to basics here.
I'm on the hard shoulder. Literally, between the three of us, we have the power to get me on my way off the motorway.
Which is the safest solution.
For
the quickest and the safest. At that point.
They would not do it. They wouldn't even entertain the idea.
That is solely down to policy. They can't breach policy. That's outside. We're not protected for that. If we trip over or something bad happens, we'll lose our job.
It's mental.
World's gone mental.
So in the end, I had to call breakdown cover. Luckily, I was within walking distance of memory services.
Oh, really?
Let me tell you, if you try and get a breakdown recovery on a Friday night,
you're waiting a long time.
So I was in memory services for about 3 hours.
Jesus Christ.
And then eventually the truck turned up. And you know what? Guess what? The truck had a jump pack.
And he just jumped it.
He just jumped it. And to be fair, the nice guy from the AA, I think it was, I explained the situation. And by that point, I'd run pretty low on diesel.
Yeah.
I tell you what, that's one of the reasons why I turned the engine off on the motorway, actually, is because it was running quite low on diesel. So he followed me to the nearest petrol station just to make sure that when I put some diesel in it...
Didn't need jumping again.
Didn't need jumping, which it didn't. And then, so I had to drive that bloody thing home and then take it to work the next day. But it's just like, for God, the whole thing was a complete shit show.
Yeah, dude. That's turned into like a 10-hour day.
So that's one of the reasons why I don't like Nissan Navaras very much. Actually, to be fair, Navaras are all right.
Are they the trucks that snap in half?
Yeah, they are. Yeah.
That's the only thing I know about them.
Yeah. It was that age truck as well.
Oh, was it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, at least it didn't snap in half then.
That's very true.
Worst things could have happened.
Well, the ones that snapped in half all got recorded, apparently.
But that is annoying that those traffic officers wouldn't just do that. Surely their priority is to get people moving and off the hard shoulder as quickly as possible. Because them of all people would know that that is a high risk situation for you to be parked on the hard shoulder.
I was within walking distance of memory services. If I hadn't been within walking distance of memory services,
what the fuck would you have done?
What would I have done?
Because you'd have to stand over the barrier for fucking 3 hours.
For 3 hours. And it was one of those, because it was still, like I say, it was probably early June, I think. It was one of those days where there was no clouds, so it went from really hot during the day to actually quite chilly at night.
Yeah.
And I would have really struggled to sit at the side of the road for 3 hours.
Yeah.
That really pissed me off, that whole situation.
Yeah, it does sound really annoying, actually. Anyway, so what's next?
What's next? Well, let's...
Have we got Rant Alley this week?
We've definitely got a Rant Alley this week, but what's our time check?
Time check. We need to get a clock, don't we?
We do need to get a clock.
Oh, we're on 37.
Oh, we got plenty of time then.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's turn to something a bit more positive, because I feel like both things we've kind of got a little bit negative.
Yeah. We're bordering on Rant Alley.
Yeah. So before we finish things up on Rant Alley, a car has been catching my eye recently.
Oh, I like it when your demeanour goes like this. It becomes quite exciting.
Very nice.
Oh.
I think the P38 Range Rover is cool.
Yeah, me too.
I think they're doing an E36.
Yeah, they are, dude.
Because do you remember for probably 10 years, more than 10 years, nobody gave two shits about E36s.
Yeah. No one liked them.
No, like they were ugly. They were slow. They were like didn't handle well.
No one was really interested in them, were they?
They weren't as interesting or as lightweight or drove as well or whatever as an E30.
Yeah.
They were basically just a shit version.
And the
of
E46 just smashed it out of the water.
Exactly. Whereas, probably 5-6 years ago, the E36 suddenly became the coolest thing on the planet.
Yeah, 100%.
And they are. I love the E36.
Yeah, badass. Yeah.
And I think the P38's going the same way. Every time I see one now,
they are nice.
I'm like, I never used to think they were nice, but their proportions are good. They look cool. They're that perfect sort of. Yeah. Again, I think a lot of my tastes are based around like late 90s, early 2000s.
Yeah.
And
that is true.
And that's why I love the E46. Why I love the E39. There's plenty of cars of that era that I really, really like.
Absolutely.
But I'm not saying they're as nice as a Range Rover Classic.
No, but they're pretty close.
They're pretty fucking cool.
Yeah, dude. They really are.
I'm wondering when we're going to start seeing like resto modded ones.
Yeah, that'd be so cool.
Because, obviously in period you had things like the Overfinch conversions and stuff like that. But can you just imagine a P38? Because they're still really cheap as well. Just whilst we're recording, just again in real time, I'll have a quick look to see what sort of price range they're at.
They do look so cool.
They do, don't they?
Yeah.
Like a good one looks really cool.
Yeah, like the proportions of them are amazing.
Yeah, the horizontal rear lights, because every other Range Rover, it's the only Range Rover with horizontal rear lights.
Oh, right.
And they're really the proportions are good.
Yeah, they've just started to become like retro.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? So as opposed to you seeing them sitting on people's driveways, not being used and sagging suspension and stuff, that would happen a lot.
They do have a lot of air suspension problems.
Yeah, exactly. And then you occasionally see one, a V8 burble pass, and it isn't sagging down. It all looks quite neat and tidy, and you just think, do you know that looks fucking bad.
They're so cheap.
How much?
They're so cheap. There's one here. Looks pretty nice. An autobiography for $2,000.
Let's have a look.
Look at that. I'm not sure about.
Don't like the colour.
No, I'm not sure on the colour, but
yeah. Look at that back
again,
end.
we're not talking concourse, but that's what I mean. They're in that phase where you're not going to have any concourse ones for sale,
and that's quite nice because that keeps the price down. But also, I don't want to buy a concourse one.
Oh, look at this turquoise one. That's a bit of me. That is. That's $2,000 as well.
Now look at that.
It's cool, isn't it?
I like going back to what I said about the proportions.
That one looks very low. I would imagine it's probably got some air suspension problems.
Yeah, I mean they all kind of look like that now. But if you look at the back end, the way it straight lines from the back to the front bonnet all the way down, that is a freaking piece of design masterclass, and it's the easiest thing they could ever have done.
Yeah, interior as well.
So the top half
it's got a smash
and the
rail
bottom
like
half are perfectly half and half.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it just looks so badass.
This is before. This is when you still had decent sized greenhouses in cars.
Yeah.
We sound like old bastards.
I know, but that looks badass.
That looks lovely, doesn't it? Yeah, it looks like you could get a decent driver one for a couple of grand.
I want one.
I kind of want one as well. I mean, to be fair, there are some nice ones here for sort of 5, 6, 7 grand.
Yeah, they're coming back into vogue in my eyes.
Oh, was that a pun? Was that a deliberate pun?
Yeah.
Nice. There's a diesel one here for £500.
We should keep our eyes out for one and do a road trip in one.
110,000 miles, runs and drives well, used as a daily run around on town and country roads. Air suspension working fully.
Yeah, caveat.
I wonder how slow that is.
What engines has it got in it?
The 2.5 diesel. That was the BMW, I think it's the BMW Straight 6. 150 horsepower. It's the same engine that's in the 525 TDS, I think.
I'm not sure. I can't imagine it being fast.
No, but who cares?
Who cares? It's a Range Rover.
You get the split tailgate as well.
Yeah, dude. Imagine having lunch on that.
They're rad. Plus also, the one out of Layer Cake
is cool.
Fucking rad.
Yeah, they're cool. I imagine if you we spoke about this a little bit earlier off camera, but if you wanted a security detail.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? To you just picture this. You're a high end
podcast host. Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
And you've got...
And you've said some very inflammatory things about a car manufacturer.
Yeah, Lotus. Or Nissan Qashqai. No, you've got a rival podcast that you've slagged off by accident, not intentionally.
We would never do that.
But I know. But they've taken offence to what we say, and they want our heads.
Yeah, so somehow we've got some podcast turf wars going on.
Yeah, like Andrew Tate, for instance, wants us dead.
Okay, yeah.
Right? Well, I was going to say, we want a security detail that's going to follow us around, look after us, get us off our plane
but
to
it
our
has to be
hotel.
on brand.
Yes, absolutely.
P38 Range Rovers.
They're going to say, what cars do you want us to drive around in? P38 Range Rover.
They're cheap.
We can get quite a few of them, and you can put as many boys in it as you want, and you look cool.
Yeah.
And we think you'll look cool, and that works for us.
Yeah.
You know? Fuck, we don't want anything fancy. We don't want no X5.
No, fuck that.
Gross.
Although, to be fair, I feel like the first shape X5 is kind of going to go a similar way. I've always had a bit of a thing for those.
I don't think it's gone there yet.
Not yet, but it will do. On that note, actually, when is the 996 going to be cool? I guarantee it will happen. People hate them now, but I reckon... I don't think it's that long away. I don't think that's far away.
Do people hate them?
People don't hate
them. They're nowhere near as nice as the 997.
They are definitely this is how it happens. You've just described the E36.
I have, yeah, literally.
Because guess what? The 996 is nowhere near as retro or as interesting as the 993, and it's just not as good as a 996.
Yeah.
You've just described the E36. It's
hasn't
exactly
happened
the same.
yet. I don't know if I can get over that front end on the 996 though, man. The headlights, I just don't know if I can get over that. But I might.
In 2023, you can't. Maybe in 2025. You
Those
will be
headlights
able to.
might be the hottest thing on the street.
Exactly.
Do you remember the days when they made edge lights looking like fried eggs?
Right, we are not going to get caught out on this anymore. We need to
buy a 996
we need
now.
to buy a 996 now. We need to have a couple of P38s flanking it in the garage.
Yeah.
And fuck it, let's just stick a couple of E46s in there for good. No, E90s.
Yeah.
Because they're getting really cheap now. I don't think they've quite troughed yet.
We have to sit on them for a while.
They're getting there.
But the 996, I don't think we're going to have to sit on that for too long.
Yeah. Get a Shitronic one or whatever they're called.
Ugh. I don't think that'll ever be good. But you are right. But you are right. The 996 is the E36 of the Porsche world. You know,
Exactly the same as a P38.
exactly. It isn't as cool as the original.
It's not a classic.
Yeah, it's not as good as the ones that came after it.
Yeah, I can't remember what the code is for the new one.
But it sits in that bracket of like it's sat there just smug as fuck going, I know that in 3 years' time,
It's my time now.
people will
get me.
People will love me.
Yeah.
They'll see me for what I really am. It's my time now. You get me?
Fuck.
Yeah. So that is it. Yeah, you're right. But like the Range Rover is exactly the same thing. I think that's happening now.
I think it's happening right now. Because
now.
I've started noticing more and more of them on the road over the last 6 months or so. And every time I see, even if I see a ropey one, the only time I don't like them is when somebody sticks them on like 20-inch wheels
and
off
puts
a newer
four
one.
exhaust sticking a foot out the back of the bumper. You
stop
think, what are you doing? Stop.
The thing is, there's so many.
That turquoise one, sorry to interrupt, it's perfect.
Yeah. Very period correct. I loved it.
Absolutely. And even with the saggy suspension, I love that.
Yeah.
Because
it's a vibe, isn't it?
It's a vibe.
The thing with the...
God, they're good-looking cars.
You've got so many. You could get one looking really good as well. You wouldn't take many modifications to make it look real nice.
I really like a black one.
Yeah, black one. I'd like a dark green one.
I'd love a green one.
Full country shooting spec.
With like tweed interior.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like we were talking about last week. Bring back the picnic blankets.
Yeah, put them on the back seat.
Yeah, picnic blankets.
I just have
on the seats.
Tweed everywhere. Why the fuck not?
Yeah, and you know what? Fuck a V8. Have a diesel. Doesn't matter.
I get the 6-cylinder diesel.
Yeah. 150 horsepower.
I wouldn't give a shit.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Wouldn't give a shit. It'd still sound quite nice. Those 6 cylinders sound good.
Yeah.
If it's the BMW one, like you said.
It might be a Vauxhall. I don't know.
Well, even so. But
I can't remember.
The V8 would be a guzzler.
It would.
And I don't think it'd be any faster.
I'm pretty sure the P38 still had the Rover V8 as well.
Okay.
But yeah, 190 odd horsepower. It's all right.
Yeah.
Good
Sounds
stuff,
cool.
Yeah.
And that's the thing with those things.
And again, back then, LPG conversions were really popular. I reckon you could probably find one with an LPG conversion.
Bro, we're diving deep into this.
Should I sell the XC90 and buy XC70 and buy P38?
Yes. Shall I buy one as well?
Oh god,
dude, we could do that.
Bear in mind, we've spent the first half of this podcast.
We fucking hate SUVs. You've come full circle. But I think we're allowed to.
Yeah, Range Rovers.
I think it's a completely different vibe, isn't it? We're not doing it because we need an SUV. We're doing it because it fucking is cool.
It's not a Nissan Qashqai.
No. It's a vibe, mate.
Yeah.
It's a vibe. They look so good.
They do.
That boxy shape and the proportion of it all. I think this is just people of our age that are into cars will like this sort of thing. So that's what we've kind of grown up around.
I want a garage full of 80s and 90s tat.
God, it'd be good fun, wouldn't it?
I want a P38 Range Rover parked next to an E39 530i.
Oh my God.
Both still fairly cheap.
That'd be nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, so P38s are cool now.
They definitely are.
You've heard it here first on the Ben and John Do Cars podcast. P38s are cool, and we are the authority on what's cool and what's not.
Yeah, with the cool police. And 996s will be in 3 years.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
So get your money out.
So yeah, that's about it really.
Okay, right. Before we wrap up,
let's take a turn.
Let's take a turn. We're in the XC70.
Yeah.
And it's a dark evening.
Yeah.
And the rain's pouring outside. Yeah. And we want to go find somewhere nice to just pull over and just have a little bit of a chat. Have a bit of a rant.
We are going to pop the indicator on and just waft down
Rant Alley with the heated seats on.
Exactly.
Or the seat heaters on.
Hey Google, right, right, you do the theme tune. I'll get ready.
Okay. Rant Alley. What you gonna say? Rant Alley.
Okay, so I've got a few things to choose from on Rant Alley today. I'm going to go with a couple of specific examples. So this is some real-world experience that happened to me the other day.
Right.
And it did my head in. And it's a good example of some behaviour on the road that really does my head in.
Okay.
So before, I think we talked about people who wouldn't let you in and stuff like that. It's really annoying.
Yeah.
This is also really annoying. So,
Okay, I'm all ears.
bit of context. I'll try and get through this quite quickly.
Okay.
I was coming back from Bristol the other night. It was quite late. During the week, by the time we got the M4 to come home, the M4 was shut. That's
annoying.
So I had to come back cross-country through Luckington, Shurston, Malmesbury, all the way home.
That's a long road.
Yeah, so I was already a little bit annoyed, but to be fair, I had the day off work the next day. So I didn't need to get up early in the morning, so I was just like, fine.
You'd probably listen to a Sniff and Spliff podcast. Sniff and Smith podcast. Jesus.
Sniff and Spliff. Then you said codcast.
Sorry.
So I was listening to a podcast. I was just chilling out. It was all good. You know, I know those roads well. I haven't been down those roads for years.
Yeah.
So it was actually quite nice. A bit of a trip down memory lane.
Nostalgia.
Anyway, so as I was coming out of Malmesbury, a car was behind me. It was a BMW. I can tell you it was a BMW because of the lights. So for a while I was like, this might be a police car. Mm-hmm. Not that that's a problem because I wasn't doing anything illegal.
But
so I was coming out of Malmesbury. I was going towards Brinkworth, and so obviously a lot of you won't know what that is. It's a primarily a 50-mile-an-hour road. Some of it's 60, but most of it's 50. So as I was coming out of Malmesbury, I was going through a 30 zone, then a 40 zone. This fucking BMW was up my arse. Right? So I was slightly annoyed. But I was like, okay, fine. But he's obviously in a hurry, not a problem.
Yeah.
I'm very zen with stuff like this, normally. I make a conscious effort to be zen about stuff like this.
Yeah, I just think, just overtake me.
I'm getting to that. So we come out of the 40 zone into the 50 zone. I'm doing 50.
Yeah.
He's still up my arse. I used to drive quick when I was a kid. Sometimes I still do. I'm not one of these people who's going to block you just because I don't want you to go past me.
Mm.
If you want to get past me, please do.
Crack on.
Get the job done. I'll even make... For the first 10 minutes, I was even making it fucking easier for him. As soon as because I know that road quite well, as soon as I knew that there was a decent overtaking spot, I was pulling in
a little bit.
I was hugging the verge.
Yeah, go on, get past.
You know, my body language was saying,
take me on.
Hey,
not take me on. Just go past me.
Fill your fucking boots.
Yeah.
If you're in a hurry, crack on. I'm not gonna make it hard for you.
No, absolutely.
This guy literally sat on my fucking bumper all the way from Malmesbury to Wootton Bassett.
That's miles.
It's about
10 miles.
Probably 10 miles the whole time, and it was not a busy night. There was hardly any fucking other traffic. There was probably a dozen decent, safe overtaking opportunities.
The first bit of that road, when you come out of the 40, is probably about a kilometre long of straight road.
Is that the bit you're thinking of where you turn left to go towards Lee?
You can do, yeah.
Yeah. That bit.
But then the road just is straight. Yeah. It's literally straight.
It's a dead straight, nice wide
B road.
Not too cambered.
Not busy.
Just get the fucking job done.
Yeah, literally.
Stop being a little bitch and sitting on my fucking bumper. If you want to get past me, get fucking past me.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna take time out of my day to slow down I'm not gonna go that far. I'm not gonna slow down.
No.
But I'm doing the speed limit because that's what I want to be doing.
Yeah. I'm just gonna get my journey done. Just don't hug my bumper.
Yeah.
Just if you want to. Yeah, I'm getting riled up.
Yeah, stop being a fucking idiot.
Either overtake me or fucking back off.
Exactly, one of the two. Don't just tailgate me for miles on fucking miles. What are you doing? What was this guy doing? Or girl? What were they fucking doing?
They were either completely oblivious to what they were doing.
If they were oblivious to what they were doing,
that's worrying.
That's almost even worse because you I know that only a 4 breaks a 2-second rule, but for real, why are you fucking tailgating me so close? Well, I mean, what's the point? Like, you can't sit that close to someone. It's dangerous.
Yeah, I agree with you, man. So I'm just laughing at you. Only a fool breaks a 2-second rule.
Everyone knows that. You told that when you're 17, sure.
Yeah, I know, but it's just funny because I haven't heard that for like 15 years.
What was the thing about tyres and tarmac? What is it? Tyres and tarmac, something else. I don't know.
I can't remember. Click, clunk every trip.
Click, clunk every trip. That was it. Yeah, but like, just look, to all of you listening, there's nothing wrong with overtaking someone. There's nothing. I don't think there's if it's a quiet road and it's safe to do so, I don't think there's any problem with temporarily breaking the speed limit to get past someone, especially if you're in a hurry. I think it's a lot safer. Just get the fucking job done.
Yep.
And get on with your life.
Yep.
Don't sit on someone's fucking rear bumper for 10 miles.
No.
It's ridiculous.
It's not safe. And it's fucking annoying.
It's so annoying.
Yeah.
I was...
It's almost like they're doing it. They're either doing it because they're not aware they're doing it, which is worrying and also very fucking annoying, or they're doing it to just be a dickhead.
Or they're doing it because they just haven't got the bollocks to get the fucking job done.
Yeah, and they're trying to force you to pull over.
Or to speed up.
And
again...
And if you haven't sped up within a mile, right?
Ain't going to happen.
It's not happening.
But the thing is...
And you're in a Volvo XC70.
Yeah.
I mean, what do they think that they're going to achieve?
And then maybe... I mean, I think a lot of people... Maybe this is part of it. I think a lot of people in that situation... Because people get really ragey on the road. Really ragey.
Oh, God. I've seen videos of people like getting out of their cars and having to go at people. What is going on?
But I think a lot of people in that situation would deliberately slow down. To try and piss off. Like, if you...
Just be like, you're pissing me off, so fuck off.
Yeah, you're pissing me off, so I'm going to piss you off. So I'm going to slow down to try and block you.
Yeah.
Maybe he was expecting me to do that. I don't know.
But what would he gain from that?
Well, maybe it's easier to overtake someone doing 35 than it is someone doing 50. If you're in a 50.
Let's be honest. That road, you could... I'm not condoning this behaviour, but you could easily overtake at 65 miles an hour safely as hell.
There are at least 2 spots where you could overtake with a 5 mile an hour speed deficit.
Yeah, easy.
Speed delta could get the job done fairly safely.
Yeah.
10 mile an hour, not a problem at all.
Easy.
And if I'm doing 50, do 60.
Do 60.
Break the speed limit by 10 miles an hour. No one's around.
No one gives a shit.
It's a straight bit of road. It's nice and wide. There's hardly any potholes. Just fucking get the job done. Stop being a little bitch.
I don't care if you fly past me at 60 or 100. Just get past.
Yeah, just get it done.
It's not very provocative how fast you're going.
Let's do it.
I don't care. Yeah, let's do it. Yeah, I'm in total agreement with you there. It's annoying as hell. But it baffles me the amount of people that do it. Because I often think, are they doing this because they're not aware that they... And I've been in cars with people as a passenger where they drive so flipping close to the car in front, and you're just like...
I know a few people. I know a few people that whenever I go in the car, I'm constantly hitting the imaginary brakes.
Yeah, me too. And I'm a nervous passenger as it is.
Yeah, same.
And I often think, like, we're close to that person. If they slam their brake, we're fucking in the back of them.
Yeah, and also, again...
And then sorry, I've said to them, by the way, you realise you're quite close to that person, and they go... Oh, that's how we always drive, mate. I've never had an accident. I'm just like, oh, God.
That doesn't make it any better.
Anyway.
And also, if you do that because you're in a hurry, it makes it more difficult to overtake.
Yeah.
So you're putting yourself at a disadvantage.
You can't do the slingshot.
You can't do the slingshot, exactly.
Can't do the slingshot, Ben. My favourite manoeuvre.
You can't shake and bake it.
No, you can't shake and bake. Shake and bake, baby. Yeah, you can't do it. It's odd. It's odd why people do it, but people do it, and it's really annoying.
Yeah.
There we go, Rant Alley.
Yeah. So
let's exit Rant Alley.
Yeah, let's exit Rant Alley. That was actually a slightly more chilled Rant Alley than I was expecting.
Slightly, but I think when you listen back to it, you'll see that you're getting pretty animated.
Oh, okay, cool.
That's good. That's good. What's Rant Alley's there for, man?
I've got a few Rant Alleys left. We're not going to do any of them today.
We'll save them for. We'll park them. We'll park them. We'll leave them in Rant Alley, and we'll exit Rant Alley, and we'll come back next week.
Yeah, I love that.
All right.
So I think have you got anything else you want to say?
No.
Cool.
Thanks for episode 8. Yeah.
Is it 8?
Yeah.
We went through that, didn't we?
Yeah, at the start, yeah.
We've covered that ground.
Yeah, so thanks everybody for listening. And like we always say, like, comment, engage with us.
Please engage, yes.
We really do appreciate it and enjoy talking to you lot. Like, it's something we enjoy doing this, but we also enjoy engaging.
Within reason. I mean, if you tell us that we're bunch of fucking idiots, then you might not enjoy that much. But
I definitely won't enjoy that. But I guarantee that no one's listened to this anyway. And if you are, comment below. You're a pair of fucking idiots.
Yeah, yeah.
And you might win a prize.
Yeah, you won't win a prize.
Nah, you won't. We don't do prizes on the show.
So yeah, next week, episode 9.
Yep.
We'll see what subject we got. We haven't even thought about it yet, have we?
No, but like we always say at the end of the episodes, if you do have any things you want us to touch on during the podcasts, we're open to suggestions.
Comment us or send us a message or whatever else.
Yeah.
We're on Instagram, we're on Facebook, we're on YouTube, obviously.
Yeah.
Apple, Spotify,
Yeah.
Google.
Do you know what we could start doing?
What?
Getting...
I thought I was going to say something outrageous then.
No, don't, mate. I kind of know what you're going to say, but what we could maybe, it was probably a conversation off air, but what I was thinking is people could send us pictures of their cars and we could rate them.
Yeah, I love that. That's a great shout.
Yeah, rate my car.
Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah, got any pictures of your car? Send them in.
Send them in. We'll put it on the screen and
we'll rate it.
And
rate it or slate it. That could be the feature.
Amazing.
Rate or slate.
Yeah. And then we'll make another feature for that. Rate or slate, rate or slate. Ooh, what are you going to say?
Right, we'll see you on the next one.
Yeah, let's do it.
Ooh, what are you going to say? Rate or slate, what are you going to say? Rate or slate, rate or slate.